Hello, my name is Mike, and this is my redemption story. I was raised in a Christian home. My mom and dad were Christians, but I certainly didn't embrace their Christianity. I remember getting a job at McDonald's when I was a junior in high school, and it was really a great time because, first of all, I had a job, I got paid, and because I worked late on Saturday night, I didn't have to go to church on Sunday mornings. So after I graduated from high school, I went to a secular university, far enough away from my parents to be free, but close enough to bring my dirty laundry home on the weekends. And I remember going off to college thinking, I'm going to be free. I'm going to really be happy now. Being in a Christian home with Christian principles, I just wanted to be free of that and be myself and chart my own course and direct my own life. So I went to a secular university. My parents drove me to that university the weekend that I was to enter the dorm. And on Saturday night, they said, Mike, tomorrow morning, we are going to take you to church. And I remember saying to myself, well, this will be the last time I will be going through the doors of a church. That morning, they had a meet and greet during the service. The ushers came by and gave my mom and dad these cards, and my dad handed one to me and said, Mike, fill this out. And I filled it out. I was just thinking, I guess this is just they're taking roll or something. I had no idea that I was being put on a prospect file and the church would be coming after me. Well, the next Thursday night, there was a young man by the name of Sing Oldham who was a junior at the university. He came out of my dormitory room, and I will never forget it. As he sat down in my room, I lit up a cigarette and blew some smoke into his face, just letting him know that he didn't need to come back. But he did. He came back the next week. It was during that time where I was beginning the process of pledging a fraternity and just, again, mapping out my own future, and God was not on my radar screen. God was not on my radar screen, but I was on his. This guy, Singh, just kept coming back week after week after week. And I noticed that he was happy, and I was curious because I didn't think Christians could be happy. I never had really seen a lot of happy Christians. And I thought, what does he have? Because here I was as a college freshman away from my parents and all the freedom in the world. I thought I'd be happy. But actually, I was less happy. So really, my soul was empty. And every week he'd come back, not preaching to me, but just caring about me and asking me how I was doing. So I went to his church that next Sunday, and then every so often I'd go back again, but he kept coming back week after week, never pushy, never preachy, but just showing that he cared. I remember one night I was so confused because I thought being away from Christianity would make me happy and just charting my own course would make me really happy. But I was really empty. And I never forget that one night I went and sat in the football stadium at this university, looking up in the sky at the stars and wondering, God, are you really there? Do you really exist? Well, Singh kept coming back week after week after week, and all of a sudden I started going to church every so often on Sunday morning church services, and the next thing I know, I was going every Sunday, and the next Sunday thing I knew I was going Sunday night, and the next thing I knew I was going Wednesday night, and then on February the 4th of my freshman year in college, at the end of the service, I went forward to the front and I gave my life to Jesus. It was a radical transformation for me. I asked Jesus to forgive me of my sins. I asked him to come into my life and change my life and chart the course and the direction of my life. I was so happy about what God had done for me. That emptiness was gone, the joy was there, and there was purpose and meaning in my life for the first time, that I had to go to Louisville, Kentucky, my hometown, to to share the gospel with two of my best friends in high school, Phil, who was an agnostic, and Joe, who is an atheist. They were stunned by the change they saw in my life. They said, Mike, there must be a God, because there's nothing that can explain your life change. So that started their journey toward God, and eventually both Joe and Phil gave their lives to Jesus. My conversion experience was a radical transformation. God's word says if anyone becomes a Christian, he's a brand new person. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things become new. Since I became a Christian, I have experienced the joy of God. But life has not always been easy. I've gone through difficulties, through trials. I've gone through periods of discouragement, even had a few seasons of despair. But there's always been the joy of God in my life that just kept me going. The Christian life is not a perfect life, but it is an amazing life. And I am so grateful for that day, February the 4th of my freshman year, when I gave my life to Jesus. It transformed my life. And now, as I live every day, I live knowing that God is present in my life, guiding my life, leading my life, giving me meaning and purpose for my life. I will forever be grateful for my salvation that I experienced through Jesus my freshman year. And that's my redemption story.